Let's face it, we all know who the big stars are at this year's Tour de France. Kittel, Cav, Greipel, Sagan, Froome, Quintana, Contador, etc. But who are the less well-known riders who might be able to upset the apple cart, cause a bit of a surprise, or maybe take a sneaky stage win?
Well, you're about to find out, because we've named 9.
We haven't named them yet, we're about to name them.
We're about to name 9, aren't we? Yeah. Alexis Gujard isn't a sprinter, he's not a climber, and he certainly isn't a time trialist. But at only 23 years of age, in his 3rd season as a pro, he's already won 7 races, which leads us to conclude he's a blimmin' good bike rider.
Yeah, very, very strong. Now, it's fair to say that Gujard's main responsibility for the 3 weeks will be to look after the interests of Romain Bardet, his teammate, in the general classification. However, if he gets even so much as a hint of freedom from his team, we're going to see him going up the road, because that lad loves a breakaway.
I think he's going to win a stage.
Without Italian national champion Giacomo Nizzolo, Trek Segafredo will be looking towards Edward Churns on the fast finishes. Now, this will be his first ever Tour de France. In fact, it's his first ever year in the World Tour, having made the progress up to Trek from a couple of years at Topsport Vlaanderen.
Yeah, he's already got 5 pro wins in his relatively short career, including a stage win in this year's Tour of Belgium. And remember, he's also got the remarkably talented Jesper Stuyven to shelter him from the wind in the closing kilometres of the flat stages too.
Think he'll win a stage?
Maybe. Next up, it's Dutch sprint sensation Dylan Groenewegen of Lotto NL Jumbo. Now, already this year, he's notched up 7 sprint victories, including, very recently, a notable scalp of Andre Greipel at the Ronde of the Col.
Yeah, and he'll be taking part in his first Tour de France in red, white and blue as the Dutch champion, recently crowned in a sprint victory there. Now, he's just 22, and this is his 2nd year as a professional, so a stage victory at the Tour de France might be asking a bit much. Although we wouldn't count it out. Or would we? Matt, will he win a stage?
Maybe.
Now, we had to have a Colombian rider on our list of 9. Difficult, given that most of them are very well known, but we've gone with Jarlinson Pantano, who's the latest of an exceptional group of cycling talent to truly announce himself as world class.
Yeah, now, at 27 years of age, he's not the youngest rider, but his recent 4th place overall at Tour of Switzerland was a real breakthrough ride. Adding to the mix as well the fact that he won the final Mountainer stage too.
Yeah, now his team, I Am Cycling, don't really have a genuine contender for the podium at the Tour de France, and what that should mean is that Pantano gets plenty of freedom to go up the road in both the Alps and the Pyrenees. But will he win a stage, Matt?
I don't think he'll win a stage, although he may prove me wrong. I'm predicting a fine 2nd place. Jan Pollans has already won a stage of a Grand Tour, and that was actually stage 5 of last year's Giro d'Italia, and he hasn't quite yet reached those same heady heights again, although there have been improvements in glimpses of his form improving at the Tour of Swiss.
Yeah, there have. Now, like some other riders on our list, he will be having to work for some of his team leaders at Lampre Merida in this particular case, they being Rui Costa and the South African rider Louis Meintjes. However, we're still predicting some freedom for Pollans in the later part of the race, which could mean he might take a stage win.
But he might not. Despite being one of the oldest riders on our list at 32 years of age, Serge Pauwels seems to have his best years in front of him, because he's certainly flourished since he joined MTN Quebec last year in Dimension Days this year.
He was 15th overall actually in the Tour de France last year, and he showed some cracking form recently at the Critérium du Dauphiné. Now, in the form of Steve Cummings and Daniel Tecla-Hemo, has a couple of very strong allies in the mountains within his own team, but who knows, it might actually be the Belgian that takes the limelight.
Do you know what? I think he might.
Lawson Craddock will be a familiar name to cycling fans stateside, but he's yet to make his big breakthrough here in Europe. Now, this year he has placed 5th overall at the Tour of California, and before that 9th overall at the very, very tough Tour of the Basque Country. Now, at the Tour de France, a stage win is going to prove a bit difficult, but not out of the question.
Yeah, it would be quite incredible if he pulled off a stage win, because at 24 that would be his first ever pro win. But you know, I'm not ruling it out. The oldest rider on our list is Dani Navarro of Cofidis, and is probably the most well known. He's had 4 career wins to date, including a stage win at the Vuelta a España, and is very dependable on the big mountain climbs, and has been extremely consistent this year.
Yeah, he has. And he's actually finished in the top 10 overall at the Tour de France in previous years. However, we've got a feeling that this year he won't focus so much on the GC as he will on taking his first ever stage win at the race. Question is though, will he do it?
No. But he might.
For Peter Vakoc, it's a matter of when he's going to win a huge race, not if. The 23-year-old is just monstrously strong. But then again, you don't get selected for the Tour de France for Ethics Quick-Step at that age, unless you are.
Now his chances will be limited with both Marcel Kittel and Dan Martin to work for, but definitely keep an eye out for him on the lumpy transitional stages. And without a shadow of a doubt, he'll be one of those moves.
Question is though, will he win a stage?
No, he's going to win 2.
Right, we shall finish by giving a special mention to young British sprinter Dan McClay. The reason he hasn't made our list is because as we record this, his team have not confirmed their roster, so we can't be sure that he's taking part. But if he is, watch out for him. He would have been our number 10.
Yeah, riding in the black and green of Team Fortuneo Vital Concepts. Now, talking of Vital Concepts, how about clicking up here for our Tour de France preview show? Less of a concept, more of a video really, but just down here you can also find our Tour de France playlist.
Yeah, to make sure you don't miss any of them, you can subscribe to GCN for free, and all you've got to do is click on the globe.
Oh, this coffee.
No, so you've got to click on the globe.
I'll move that out of the way. Click on the globe, or you can click on my coffee, but nothing will probably happen.